Greetings, esteemed judges, teachers, and students. I'm Shruthi of 11 Science A, and I've submitted a research paper on the topic Stephen Hawking believed in the existence of parallel universes. Do you agree? In short, yes, I do believe that parallel universes do exist. So let me just screen share and show you what some of the evidences that I found while writing this research paper. First of all, I'd be reviewing my abstract. This study investigates possible theories and evidences that could possibly lead to the notion of the multiverse theory being true. First of all, before we move forward, I would like to debunk some of the clarifications regarding multiverses, parallel universes, and mirror universes. Multiverse or multi-universes is the theory that basically suggests there are multiple universes being present. A parallel universe is the universe theory that suggests there are parallelly the same, exact same universe as we are right now. Basically, a doppelganger of Earth. So, in that parallel universe, I would find an exact copy of me, you, and everyone viewing this currently. But there would be minor tweaks and changes to that universe. A mirror universe is pretty much similar to the parallel universe, but completely opposite. If you're wondering what that actually means, Earth over here, we do things in a specific way. So, for example, mass over here could be positive, mass over here on Earth is positive, whereas in a mirror universe, mass could be negative. Over here, whatever we deem as good in the parallel mirror universe could be deemed as bad. So that is basically the difference between the three types of theories. So moving on, using data collected from the various websites, books in the public library, portable document format or PDF versions of books and theories suggested by scientists such as Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking, surfing through news reports and articles for better clarity on the topic. So I use these particular topics for my the last news reports and articles for my understanding of the topic and more of the research based aspect of the paper. I visited the public library and basically read the book A Brief History of Time because I feel that is one of the main topics or books research material that would be quite useful for this. It was found that after collectively looking at all the theories and supporting evidences, the existence of multiverses, which includes parallel and mirror universes, could be possible. Just because we do not have the adequate technology, we cannot say that these do not exist. So, moving on, introduction. What if there's another you opening the laptop ready to settle down for online school? So, there's a ditto, there's a copy, exact carbon copy of me sitting in another place, opening the laptop ready for school. While I might be ready for school and excited for continuing my day, the other person, other Shruti in the other parallel universe might not so be excited. So she closes the laptop down. So the other Shruti lives in the exact same planet called Earth, but it's very similar to the Earth I live in currently. There are mountains, plains, water, everything, but it's in another universe. It's not over here. The life of this person has been super similar to mine. So I'm in 11th grade, so I've thought about this. What do I want to become in life? One of my main aspects were astronomy and space related stuff. But my other mind wanted to become an entrepreneur. So maybe in this world, in this world, I want to become an astronomer or basically an astrophysicist. But in the parallel other universe, the same Shruti could have been an entrepreneur. So this is the very moment that my views from the other Shruti or the life of ours started diverging. I decided to sit for online school, but she did not. So the idea or the theory of multiverse might seem a little bit weird to some people, but I feel that I know for a fact that it is true. Now, my hypotheses, as I've spoken multiple times about it, My hypothesis to the question, do parallel universes exist? In short, is yes. There are several scientific evidences to this that support my take on this topic. Now, let us review some of the evidences that I feel are quite important to prove that this is actually true. Firstly, the double slit experiment that was conducted by Thomas Young. It is one of the concrete evidence that a parallel universe can exist. When you shoot particles through a single slit towards the right, you get a pattern on the wall that you're seeing. It forms a straight line. Whereas the same thing, you do it on the left side, you get two, like you get another, the similar thing that has happened on the right side. But when you have two slits and you do the exact same thing, changing nothing, the pattern this time is different. It is not the sum of what was in the whole experiment. So how does this even happen? So this can easily be visualized when you pass waves through the slits. So when you have two slits and when you have a ripple of water or a wave, the interference pattern that is generated from each slit when it's coming out is the pattern that we see when the double slit experiment is found. So which in turn gives rise to the idea of superposition, a particle being existing in two different places at the exact same time. In theory, when we come to think of it, this is stupid. We think that it is not possible, but like this experiment basically gives rise to superposition. It is possible. So this again gives a concrete evidence that if I can exist on a planet called Earth in this very Milky Way galaxy, I could technically exist in another universe too, who looks exactly like me, who has similar decisions, etc. Secondly, is the Fermi paradox. There are about 2 million galaxies in the universe with 1 billion trillion stars, some of which could be exactly identical to our sun. What is the probability of that being exactly similar to our sun? This, as we know from a very young age, we've been taught that sun is the source of life for Earth, which is in the Goldilocks or the correct zone, which is neither too cold nor too hot. So this Goldilocks zone provides life. So yeah, this could technically be possible when we're like in another galaxy, and this exact same scenario could happen. If life could sustain and thrive on a planet called Earth in a Milky Way galaxy, why can't it exist in another galaxy? So this basically proves that there are other life. There's more life provided in the there could be a possibility that there are other forms of life in the other galaxies apart from the observable universe. So this is basically my take on this. And then the third one is the theory of inflation. Most of us would like to believe that the Big Bang theory could be true. So on the basis of that, what happened before the Big Bang theory? Nobody knows for sure what exactly happened before the Big Bang theory. Well, some of us might not even believe that the Big Bang theory was true. Different people with different opinions on how life started or how the universe was formed. But since most of the people believe that Big Bang theory actually happened, this is one of my view, including me. I think that's how the universe started. Inflation is the period of super fast accelerated expansion in early cosmic history. It is so fast that in a fraction of a second, a tiny subatomic speck of space is blown to dimensions much greater than the entire currently observable universe. We, to be honest, do not even know for sure that the universe is about this big. So we do not know for sure what exists out there. After that, towards the end of the inflation, after the inflation period, the very same energy that drove this expansion helps ignite a fireball of a mass of particles and radiation. This was eventually known as the Big Bang. So when the Big Bang started, the whole world, the whole universe was condensed into a hot mass of small ball-like structure, which eventually started expanding. So from this, we can conclude that at the end of every inflation, a new universe is formed. But what if the inflation, the expansion that caused the inflation, the expansion after the inflation was the reason behind the Big Bang? It did not actually end. So instead of inflating or forming that hot mass of ball that eventually formed our universe, what if it continued, thus giving rise to different small different ways of forming more universes? So this technically proves that we could have more universes, parallel universes, or multiverses. So this is another type of concrete evidence that life could probably exist in parallel universes. If we could only prove that fundamental particles known to us could mirror and replicate themselves, we would have proven the mirror universe theory to be true. We could also prove that the other sorts of multiverse, parallel verses could be true. There is this laboratory in northern Tennessee in USA known as the Oak Ridge National Laboratory. So this laboratory is trying to prove that the mirror universe theory to be true. How, you may ask? So the idea is to shoot subatomic particles through a 50 feet shaft, and towards the end there is a strong, powerful magnet which would alter the way the particles uh, interact. So when you shoot these subatomic particles through a wall, and at the end there is a wall, if one of these particles mirror themselves on a very strong sensor, we would have eventually proven that the mirror universe theory is true. Because in reality, we do not know for sure that the exact same particle could be mirrored, right? So when if this proves these are subatomic particles which in turn form the atoms and then molecules, compounds, thus going bigger, and thus the entire world could be formed through this proof. And again, could we, like, if the parallel universe theory was actually true with based on these evidences and some other evidences which I could not add over here, um, how would we travel? Would we even be able to travel to the universe? If yes, how would we do it? The most common way of doing it would be using wormholes. Now, what are wormholes? You might have also heard about black holes and white holes. So again, differentiating between them. A black hole, as everyone knows, after you pass through this tipping point known as the event horizon, there is no way back. So a black hole is basically a giant vacuum that is being altered by the gravitational fields around it. And so anything that goes beyond the event horizon is never coming out. So a black hole is almost like an vacuum thing that nothing can come out. Whereas a wormhole on the other side is something that spews out whatever comes out of it. Whatever's inside, it just keeps on spewing. So if there is a link between a black hole and a wormhole, it is known as, it forms this endless type of connection between one universe to the other. So if I could potentially go inside a black hole, I would come out through the wormhole on the other side of the universe. So this is one part of it. Now, what do we think about wormholes? Now, let us say, for simplicity, this is a piece of paper. I'm imagining this as a fabric of space and time. So if I could put a small hole over here, and if I have another hole over here, moving from this to this would take a specific amount of time, which would be longer than traveling this way because I have a shorter amount of distance as compared to this. So this is basically a wormhole when you alter or basically shift the fabric of space and time to this alteration. If this is from point A, the top part is the point A, and this where I want to eventually be, my destination after that would be easier. So because I have a distance or shorter distance cover. So for now, this is just all a theory. But when we have to alter the fabric of space and time, gravity is trying to shut it down, shut it close. So the holes that we have from a black hole or a wormhole, or from a wormhole to the other end of the wormhole, a last resort. So gravity, since it's always trying to shut it close, our last resort would be using or discovering exotic matter. So this matter is quite different, something that no physicist or anyone on Earth has ever seen. This would be completely different from the matter we know. Matter we think is quite weird from the actual matter, antimatter. Exotic matter would consist of negative mass. Now, we've never heard of that. Each and everything in the universe, in the observable universe at last, has mass, positive mass. Exotic matter would consist of negative mass. So we all know that positive mass actually brings to attracts things to itself. So the idea behind the exotic matter, since it has negative mass, it's going to be pushing the mass away. So we so this would be a tool that could make human traversable travel through the wormholes possible. So traversable basically means coming back and forth. So I might want to be traveling from universe A to universe B, but from my journey from universe A to B, I don't want to be squished into blood and tissue. I want to be able to travel back from universe A to B and B to A. So this is quite important to keep in mind. So with exotic matter, we'll be able to fight the gravitational force. Since it's exotic matter and it has negative mass, we'll be able to repulsive. It has a repulsive force to keep the wormhole hole to be open so that we can make traversable motion back and forth. In conclusion, with the above stated evidences, the existence of a parallel universe is quite possible. We are incapable of proving this due to lack of advanced technology. In fact, I do believe that there are different types of universes, including a bubble or a baby black hole universe. In this type of universe, the bubbles of many universes contain within them, where each bubble universe is mutually unseeable. So we could be bubbles in a much more larger space and time space, but we're just bubbles which we can't see if we're in bubble A and there is another Shruti in bubble B. We technically wouldn't be able to see each other because a universe is vast. Second type is the membrane and the extra dimensions. That this type of universe is where there are layers of three-dimensional universes layered over each other, where they form a bigger picture in a much larger space with 9 spatial dimensions. Let me give you an example. So now I have this notepad. We all know that this paper is a two-dimensional sheet of paper. However, each of them are stacked on top of each other. That's a 2D. That's another 2D. That's another 2D. So they form this membrane kind of layers. So all of this forms a part in my three-dimensional world. At the end of the day, this is a 3D object. It has breadth, it has width, it has breadth, it has length, and it has a height. It has a height. So again, it's an object in a three-dimensional world. The exact same theory, but where the universes are 3D and layered, it could be a part of a much more bigger nine spatial dimension world. So these are so many things that we have conjured up with our understanding of things that already exist. But there are many things far greater than the human brain that could not even imagine. So this is my take on parallel universes, and this is what I feel about it. Thank you.